contested 2-point jump shots and 16 for 27 on uncontested threes. Tristan Thompson has been the second best offensive rebounder in the playoffs, grabbing 14.6% of available offensive rebounds. Opponents have shot 34.7% at the rim, with Timofey Mozgov there to defend it. That is the best mark among players who defended at least 4 shots at the rim per game, at least 5 playoff games. And also, James has shot 7 for 46 from three-point range, which is the worst mark among players with at least 20 three-point attempts. The regular season series, as far as that, the Hawks were the only team to beat the Cavs 3 times in the regular season. Got both home games in Atlanta. The Hawks starting lineup played together only in only the 4th meeting. DeMar Carroll missed the 1st meeting, Jeff T missed the 2nd meeting, and Al Horford missed the 3rd meeting. That lineup that the Cavs started in the last 5 games in the conference semi-player did not play against Atlanta. Cleveland has Mozgov, Iman Shumpert, and J.R. Smith only in the 4th meeting. The Hawks' effective field goal percentage of 57.6% is the best of any team that shot against the Cavs. The Cavs' effective field goal percentage of 54.9% is the best of any Eastern Conference team that shot against the Hawks. 7 different Hawks at least averaged 10 points per game against the Hawks. None averaged more than 30 minutes per game. Cavs averaged 3.32 passes per possession and 7.8 secondary assists per game, up from 309 to 506 against opponents, according to SportsVU. So this series here, that was the inside the numbers for you. Now, as far as the series itself, my thoughts on this matchup is that, once again, both of these teams are very acclimated to shooting the 3. Even Atlanta, they got signed with even their big guys from the center position are able to stretch the floor and shoot 3-pointers. If not 3-pointers, they can still hit a shot within the 18-foot range. So that with that type of offense, with those type of players, they're able to stretch you from any part of the floor, which is very interesting for the Cavs, and see how Timofey Mozgov is going to have to defend that, because he's, as you, one of those guys who like to stay on the rim and defend the rim. So they seem to push you out a little bit more, which gives Cleveland a little bit of trouble as far as that. On the other side of the ball, you're looking at the Cavaliers. They're battling some issues as far as injuries, but to get there, to be a Bulls team that had a shot to really put their stamp in being a LeBron-led team, they didn't take advantage of that. So this is where it pays to have a superstar, because there's some times where he himself can really take over a game, which, as we all watch basketball and seen LeBron take over games, you already know what that looked like. So it's very impressive from that standpoint. So, yeah, you're just impressed with what LeBron has done, even with some issues that has arisen in his team. So now they did pretty much handle Boston pretty well. I know Boston made it tough because Boston's a feisty team. So they did get through them pretty easily. For them to go ahead and actually beat a Bulls team that they were shorthanded themselves was pretty fun to watch. So it was definitely fun to see. Definitely different. I just see that team as being fun to watch, but this matchup is going to be a little dull to me as far as this matchup here. Now, when I'm looking at this series here, this is one of those where you get the regular season and the playoffs a little bit confused, different matchups and everything like that, because everybody's going to look at that and see that the Hawks are handling pretty easily. I mean, I don't really think this series is not going to be lopsided as the regular series was, and everything like that. So from that standpoint, I think it'll be a very competitive series. It'll be interesting to see, the stretch philosophy as far as the bigs versus the traditional in the post philosophy that you have, the player that you have for the Cavaliers. Now, so I mean, I think with this series, it's going to be a clash of the styles and which one will succeed over the other. But with the clash of styles, the one thing that Cleveland does have over Atlanta is that, well, they have a mega superstar. I mean, that's another way to kind of put that. So, of course, a lot of people are going to kind of favor this and put it on the Cavs to go ahead and actually take this series. So this matchup is going to be intriguing, but I feel like that it won't be as good as the Western Conference Finals. But it should be fun to watch, but not as fun as the West. So I think it'll be pretty decent to watch on this end here. Atlanta struggles in the postseason. Well, they end up beating Brooklyn in 6 games, which honestly I think Brooklyn shouldn't have gotten the postseason in the first place. And Brooklyn made it a little bit tougher on Atlanta than they need to be, than that series need to be. In the Washington series, when John Wall went out with the fractured wrist and everything like that, I think that door is opening for them to take this series, because if John Wall was healthy, we possibly could have been talking about the Wizards versus the Cavs. Nonetheless, is that they did what they had to do. Paul Pierce was put a lot of pressure on him, hitting clutch shot after clutch shot. He didn't even want to let him go for Game 6 when he hit a clutch shot, and it just didn't count. But you just got to give credit where it's due. They did get to the Eastern Conference Finals. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't the way that you expect the Hawks to get there, because how they've been playing so well in the regular season. As far as ball movement, and as people have said, it was kind of San Antonio Spurs-esque how they ran their offense. Of course, with Budenholzer coming from that Greg Popovich tree. But I guess it's a learning experience for some of these players. This is a team that, was the AC last year, made it real tough on the Pacers. So, I mean, a lot of people, not a lot of people actually picked them to even be the number 1 seed of the Eastern Conference Finals. So they definitely are still a surprise to a lot of people. But I think it's just the growing pains and what they have to learn in the playoffs and everything like that. So I've been a little confused on the Hawks, but at the end of the day, they did make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and we'll have to see how they hold up. On the flip side, you look at the Cavs, just a roster that's been hit with the injury bug at the wrong time. Speaking on Kyrie Irving, Kyrie Irving has knee tendonitis and something with his ankle. And so I give the man credit for still playing. Ahmed Shummer was bound to injury already in the Chicago Bulls series. J.R. Smith was suspended. So this team has went. It's weird to see this team with this. Well, it's not weird. It's just a part of the game. But I guess it's a weird time to kind of have the injury bug, even though they lost Verja early in the season. But this team, in the East, you can't really get. I mean, the East is kind of weak. We all know that. So they did their job getting there. They beat Boston, which I guess Boston can look for more victory because they got the game close, but they still got swept. And then Chicago, I just think they just gave up. They literally gave up, and who I thought at first that Chicago really could have, because I picked Cleveland to beat Chicago, but with all the injuries and everything that came up, I thought that Chicago had a really good shot to put a stamp on this series, and they didn't. So, but with all the injuries and Kyrie's still playing through them, I give them credit, and we'll see how far they can go. Now, as far as the S factor for both of these teams, I'm gonna go with Paul Millsap on the hot side of the ball. for the Atlanta Hawks. Reason why, because Tristan Thompson, as I mentioned earlier, he's leading. Well, he's second in the league in the playoffs with offensive rebounds, 3.9 to be exact. I mean, he's grabbing nine rebounds a game. So it's up to Millsap because he is at 9 himself to keep Thompson off the boards. And because you notice that's how when they play against the Bulls, Thompson was just dogging whoever was on him and actually out hustling them for the boards. It may have been Gasol, may have been like on his name right now, but yeah, it was just he was beating these forwards to these balls. Even Noah, he was beating Noah. Noah's the ultimate hustler, and it was just give credit for Tristan for being there and being out hustling these guys. So, but Paul Millsap has got to actually stop this from this team from helping his team getting these extra possessions, because as you know, man, every possession counts, and even though that's an old adage in basketball, the farther you get into the playoffs, it's really that serious. So, with also Paul Millsap controlling the boards, you must also exploit that matchup on the other side of the ball, make them work, spread them out a little bit, make them come out there and guard you. Tristan Thompson is actually pretty comfortable guarding out there on the perimeter, but catch him on the drive and use your mid to low post range jumper. You can get him in the post. So you got to dog him out here, work him out, and then that way it will bode well for the Atlanta Hawks if you can keep this guy off the offensive glass. All right. For the S factor for the Cavs, I'm gonna go with Iman Shumpert. He's been giving them a scoring boost since J.R. Smith got suspended in Boston. He's shooting 34% from the three-point line. He's 11 points per game in the playoffs right now. And big thing with him, he would be relied on guarding Jeff Teague. Jeff Teague is, as you know, he's probably one of the best guards getting to the rim and creating for others. So you're looking at, you can't really have Kyrie Irving guarding this guy on a bad knee and ankle. So you're going to really have to rely on him. And the same thing what I said for the Rockets, for Trevor Ariza, he's going to be that 3-and-D guy for the Cavaliers, and you got to put him on their best perimeter player. So to that, you just got to keep an eye on him now. With that being said, I don't know who you put Kyrie on. Hopefully he is a little bit healed. Is he good enough to chase around Cal Korver? I don't know. So I'm wondering if that's something that can be open for Cal Korver, because now you got a limping gimp, Kyrie Irving, chasing you around. You got to do your best to take advantage of that. So, but you got to stop T from creating these open shots. So if it's one thing, you just have to deal with it and make sure that you stop Jeff T from creating shots for others, which he is very good at doing that. And it's been, ever since he's been in the league, he's been getting better and better every year. So that's one guy you just want to stop, because he seems like he's the engine for this offense. And you can lock him down. There's a pretty good chance that you can go ahead and actually win this game or win this series. This series, I'm still questioning Atlanta. I know they played them pretty well in the regular season. But LeBron's in the playoffs is a different monster. Damari Carroll's going to have his hands full trying to guard this guy. It would be nice if you had Cephalosha, who was healthy, to kind of throw Carroll and Cephalosha at him. You need bodies to guard LeBron. And you have to worry about Carroll, man, if he can at least try to neutralize this guy and be effective on the other side of the ball. Kyrie is still not 100%. And Cal Korver has been throwing up number of bricks so far this postseason. He's not looked good at all. He looked quite uncomfortable, honestly. It's one of those where the game is tying up and they're not giving him any room, and he is not knocking down shots. It's been a problem this postseason. But I'm thinking that